Manju, you may start.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dr. Himanshu Talwar, the Executive Board Member with IMA YLC, and I'm here today to discuss a lot of things. But before I start, because I wanted to keep it like not a very formal kind of a setup here, because I have Narayan here, who is a friend, who is a moderator, who is a colleague actually. So I am the Delhi NCR, taking care of Delhi NCR chapter and the Executive Board, and Narayan is with me. He heads the West, the Mumbai chapter. So really great for this thing, and thank you, Rhythm, also for arranging all this. Before I hand it over to Narayan for a formal moderation, I just want to add something here that there are a lot of things which I can talk about Narayan also as a friend, but the one particular thing which I would specifically like to mention that he recently got the award for he's the top 10 chief business officer 2023 by CEO Inside magazine. Narayan, many congratulations and thank you for accepting this to be a moderator today. And yes, I think I'll now hand over to you so that you can start with, start shooting the questions, please.
Sure. Sure. Firstly, thank you, Himanshu. Thank you very much, for the appreciation and recognition, and plus, touching upon an important topic like this, right? Uh, so I just take 30 seconds and introduce Himanshu as well to all of you guys. Friends, Himanshu is a great friend. I've known him from quite some time now. So he has so many achievements that probably we need a separate call just to cover up his achievements. Like just to touch upon the clear major ones is he's an international TEDx speaker, celebrated author, holds multiple certifications across disciplines, a doctorate. He has studied philosophy, law, attended executive management programs, holds a business administration degree, right? Is a policy advocate in government relations. So there's so much that is Himanshu has got his up his sleeve that undoubtedly that this topic that we're going to discuss today comes naturally to him, and he thought that why not let's learn from Himanshu that what else can how else can we upgrade ourselves, learn few things from him, right? Because he's been speaking at a lot of forums, and that's how this topic is there, right? So for the to start with the questions, Himanshu, I would first say that let's probably understand from your viewpoint and from your experience, right? That what is public speaking? How do you define public speaking? How do you scope this? Because I'm sure, like me, a lot of us on this call, approximately 245 is what I see the count of us, may have a different perception of public speaking. That is it holding a rally of some 1,000 people? Is that public speaking? Speaking at the UN Assembly, is that public speaking? What is public speaking in your view and your opinion? Please, Himanshu, if you could share something in scoping the definition first.
Sure. Thank you, Narayan. Thank you. Good afternoon. Good evening, everybody, once again. So, there's a misconception how I see public speaking. I'm just going to share my view, and this view obviously can be different from person to person. But honestly, a lot of people think that, politicians are good public speakers, or people who are CEOs are good public speakers, or people who can influence others are good public speakers. So honestly, in my view, no, it's not like that. Yes, they have a quality. They know how to play with words. They do their homework and a lot of other stuff. They practice and all that. But public speaking is basically, it's very simple. It's in simple terms is that in a live setting, if you have the courage, if you have the content, if you have the confidence to talk, to speak, to share your thoughts, is basically public speaking. Now there can be, you Google or you do whatever, you'll find multiple definitions that public speaking is set up like this. It could be like this. It could be like that. But honestly, public speaking in general terms, in very simple terms, is basically expressing and sharing your views publicly. That's how I look at public speaking, and that's perhaps I started looking at it from school level or college level or even during my professional career. I really don't know, honestly. I can't give a date to this that okay, I've been speaking from my school days. I do not have a stage fever or this and that. No, there's no story behind it. It comes automatically. It can come at any age. And as I said, you can be a good public speaker, but you never realize that you are, or you never explored that side of your personality that you can. And I personally think that that's why a lot of people in India, they see themselves as a good manager, good people's person. But when it comes to public speaking, they have this hesitation that they can't speak. So today, I request everybody that public speaking is very simple. It is not a typical concept or a theorem or a definition. Simply expressing your views, sharing your thoughts live or in public domain is public speaking for me. Narayan.
Interesting, interesting. And I completely, second your opinion and relate to that, because at workplace, I do see people at important leadership positions. But when it comes to doing a basic productive team meeting, there is some gap there. And many a times the content is not communicated properly. And there's a lot of miscommunication within teams, primarily because of the leader not being able to articulate his viewpoints, right? So I completely understand that. And I'm glad that, we've scoped it and you've put your definition out there so that everybody on this call gets an understanding that, okay, public speaking is not necessarily for politicians or for corporate leaders. It is even in our day-to-day life, holding a basic conversation between a group of few people, right? And just to extend that, Manshu, how relevant or how important is it to speak clearly or to hold your conversation with I would say in a lucid and a clear language today as we speak, even in a basic setup? What's your view on that? How important is it? If I have to ask you to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you do? What would you say?
See, I would say one should have the subject knowledge and a lot of other things, but in terms of expressing your views clearly and communicating it clearly and involving others in a way that yes, they understand, they pick up things, what is being communicating is the most important thing. Now, most of I do a lot of conflict management sessions. In conflict management, the first thing, first challenge which every manager CEO faces is that what they are trying to communicate or they are communicating is not interpreted or received properly. So a leader is somebody, we say that he's a leader or she's a leader and they speak very well, they express their views very well, they're a good public speaker, is because they understand the value of not public speaking clearly, speaking effectively, and communicating their thoughts and views in the simplest of the manner to their team members. For example, if I say that, okay, I speak very good English, and now I'm invited to a college in tier 3 or tier 4 city where most of the students, they have had studied Hindi or maybe any other language as their major language. Now, if I try to express my views saying that, okay, I'm a good public speaker, I'm saying this, probably they'll appreciate me that, oh, this guy, he came, he expressed his view, he shared a lot of things. But were they able to take something back or no? So as a team member, for example, if I'm telling that, okay, my targets are this, I'm trying to achieve this through these methods. And what I'm communicating is one method of communicating the entire plan, and which is not going or reaching where I want. I am not a good public speaker. I am just a speaker, perhaps a difficult manager, a boss, a difficult manager or a boss, somebody who just clearly says, okay, this, dot, 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 thank you. I am not involving people. I'm not understanding their challenges. And honestly, I'm not encashing their strengths. So public speaking gives you an edge in terms of understanding people and encashing their strengths. So you have 10 people, three are good in this, three are good in that. Effectively, more effectively speak, more you express, and more you involve them is an art of, again, it's the other side of public speaking, but it is an important part and art of public speaking.
Makes sense. I really like the nuggets that you've shared, and especially the involvement piece is where I think so. It's a great piece where apart from creating impact, how do you involve your speakers? How do you engage them with content and with relevant queries so that that your message is being understood, right? So fair, no, I completely understand that. Now, given that we've cleared the definition and the relevance of it, my next question to you, Himanshu, would be that there are a lot of people here across age groups, right? So you could be a teenager, you could be in your 30s, 40s, 50s, etc. Right? There is some stage fear that everybody has. There is some inhibition that everyone carries, right? how does one train themselves, or how does one learn, or how does one come out of these minor inhibitions that they may have to speak in front of a forum? Could be even a team of 5 people or 10 people, right? What's your personal learnings around it? And if you have to share some advice for people, to say that, okay, don't worry, come on the platform and come out of that fear, what would be the starting points that you would share? This is your experience.
See, when it comes to becoming a good public speaker, or if you have any hesitation or any such thing, I'm sure most of you must have studied the Pythagoras theorem, pi r square. So we remove pi from there and we just pick up r square. Now, r square here means research and rehearse. So more you know about your subject thoroughly and more you rehearse, if you are alone in your cabin or at your home or standing in front of the mirror, these are very basic exercises which we have been studying. Unfortunately, we are not implementing or applying. Research and rehearse, two simple things. I know my subject. I'm a lawyer, for instance. I may have studied the entire law, but my specialization is either into corporate laws or into contract management or into jurisprudence. I'm a management guy. I've studied MBA, I've done my doctorate and all that. But my specialization is limited and restricted to marketing. Now, if I try to speak something related to statistics, or if I pick up any other subject where I do not have a command, then I'll always have the fear. Then I'll always worry about what I'm saying is right or wrong. Maybe somebody might challenge it. Maybe somebody might question it. So research, and research. Now, research is not just reading or, watching videos on YouTube. One must understand that real research comes when you read and when you write. When you write your own speech, I'm telling you, this is just one anecdote I'm adding here, that do this practice, that today you sit and you say that I have a meeting tomorrow or after a week or so, and this is the subject. Let me write down my speech. Let's see how many of you actually be able to write down your speech. One can understand, extempore and public speaking are intermingled, they're connected, but subject is different. Public speaking means you have time to research, rehearse. Extempore is that whatever you have, you're an experienced guy. As you mentioned, the age group, for example, somebody who is into his 60s can be a very good speaker, but he cannot be, or he can be a good public speaker also. So for instance, his job has been to support from the back end. He has not been speaking or talking, but knowledge wise, he's thorough, right? Likewise, if he can develop she can develop their strength and understand, I have all the knowledge, let's rehearse. So by proper rehearsals, by studying, restudying, revisiting your subject and speaking, talking to yourself or your friends or wherever, you can pick up. So write a speech, then after writing, just practice it once or twice. That is sufficient, because when you write by yourself, I'm sure, a lot of you must have studied about subconscious mind. When you write, these things go in your subconscious mind, and it is very easy to recall them because you have written it by yourself. But when you watch a video or you just read it and just run it through and say that, okay, I've studied, I know everything, then you forget, because it doesn't go inside your mind. It doesn't go inside your thought process. So whatever you research, put it on the paper, try it once, practice, and then, as I said, rehearse. So rehearsals doesn't mean just to speak. Rehearse means you write. After writing 20, 30, 50 speeches, it will take how many months? Maybe 6 months, 1 year. But you see, within 1 year, you can be a different person altogether. People might be calling you, oh, he's an introvert, she's an introvert, she doesn't speak well, she has all the knowledge. Why can't you change yourself? Why are you not ready to invest only 365 days? Only 365 days. And your job is very simple. First 6 months, research, write, research, write. Second 6 months, research. The outcome of the research, speak. Talk to yourself. Again, write, make modifications. I'm telling you here, I'm just sharing one more thing. As Narayan mentioned that I'm into public speaking also. Apart from I'm into writing also. So I've written 4 books. Now, when I go back to my first book, I say, my God, what have I written? This requires a lot of improvement. Every time I read a phrase of my own book, I say it can be better. It can be written in a better manner. So likewise, public speaking, I am trying to become a public speaker, or I'm trying to imbibe this art of public speaking, it requires, say, 6 months to 1 year. What you need to do are square: research and rehearse. Research and rehearse should not be limited to only watching videos or only writing. You can always watch few videos. Those videos can inspire you and give you anecdotes, that there are people who take a pause, that okay, I am supposed to take a pause here while I'm speaking, and take a, or for example, you record yourself and you listen to yourself. You will realize that on many instances you are going with the flow, in the sense that you're just speaking, but it is not delivering in a proper manner. You yourself challenge yourself, forget about others. Okay, don't compare yourself with anybody, or don't seek anybody's inputs for good 3 to 6 months. Just record your own videos and listen to yourself. First video and 10th video, you'll see the difference. So these small things, very small things, can take you places. You have all the knowledge. I know people who have the platform. I know people who have the knowledge, but they don't express themselves. Right? Because they don't realize the importance of rehearsals and doing research. I know people who have been speaking well, but when they speak, they don't know what they are speaking. And the outcome, in most of the things, when we read in the press, people cover others and they say that what this guy, I'm sure lately few politicians and few businessmen have just said whatever what was coming to their mind. They were not ready. They thought that we are at this level, whatever we are going to speak, it's going to be right. No, sorry. Your views can be interpreted in a different way or manner altogether. And it can either take you places or can sabotage your reputation and bring you down to that place. 0 to 100 and 100 to 0 in 1 or 2 or 3 sessions. So why not research? Why not rehearse? I have all the time. I am giving a deadline to myself for coming 3 to 6 months. Fine. But during that time, let us sit, research, rehearse, talk to yourself, pick up a pen or open your computer and write by yourself. Let whatever you are doing go into your mind. Let it stay there for a while. Let it develop. Let it grow. Let it go inside your personality and help you groom yourself. And then obviously when you'll go for public speaking sessions, you'll receive a lot of inputs from others and you welcome them. People are not criticizing you. Remember that if you're trying to become something or something, people, obviously 1 or 2 negative people you come across, but most of the people are not criticizing you. They want to see you as a better person, or they see you as a better person and they are there to compliment you, but they feel that one input is required and they give. So be very open in terms of receiving those inputs. Forget about all that fear, forget about all that challenges. Those challenges has nothing to do with your grooming yourself in your own way by doing your own research and by rehearsing every day. That's Narayan, my input here.
No, great. I really like the way you've brought an equation angle to it, right? And especially the 2 words R&R, right? Research and rehearse makes absolute sense. And especially the rehearse part, I believe that where, assuming that you've got your content in place, you've got your domain knowledge in place, how do you articulate it? How do you crystallize it? And how do you share it in various formats, right? It could be a crisp version, it could be an elongated version, right? That's a skill, that how do you communicate the whole story in about 1 page? And how do you make that whole story into another 10 books, right? So knowing your audience, when to speak, how much the rehearse part is spot on, Himanshu, and couldn't agree more with you on the subconscious piece. That is when you talk to yourself, it goes deeper and deeper, right? I'm sure friends and colleagues on this call would have gone through this. Like personally, I've gone through it, right? Where if I knew my content and I didn't rehearse it, I did goop up, right? But places where my content was in place, I have rehearsed it and I have put it in my subconscious mind, by noting down my points. Man, it was a home run in those discussions, where I knew what I'm speaking, why am I speaking, and how am I answering the Q&As. So I completely relate to that. Speaking on rehearse, just want to bring a twist to the word rehearse. What's your take on body language while holding these conversations, right? Because body language plays an important role, right? Because your body language says that how confident you are, right, while addressing a bunch of people. So, any anecdotes or any viewpoints that you can share on importance of body language in public speaking?
Yes, Naran, sure. See, another thing, very, I mean, I don't know how to put it. What is a body language? We have to first understand the contribution and value of body language in public speaking. So, public speaking, for example, as I said, that it is about a live discussion or a show or something happening wherein you are speaking, right? So, either you're standing behind the podium, maybe your legs are shivering, but you are still standing confidently, or you're sitting on a chair, maybe you are getting goosebumps, but you have the mic and you are communicating, or maybe you are well planned and researched guy and you are ready to deliver what you are expected to do, or what you are expected to deliver. Now, body language here means that you are facing a crowd or a person or yourself. That's immaterial. It is about whether you are confident enough or not. There are people, for example, people relate body language to sometimes, in some cases, people relate body language to the dressing sense. Now, somebody who is wearing a dhoti kurta can be an excellent public speaker in any language, irrespective of the place, country, city, town, where or he or she comes from. They can be a perfect person in terms of public speaking because of their own R&R, right? Now they're confident, they are standing tall with whatever they are wearing, and they are okay with it. Because at that time, out of 100 people, maybe 4, 5, 7, 10 are looking at how you are dressed. But 90 of them are more worried about in terms of receiving the right information, that whether you're delivering it proper or not. Now, here is the challenge. As you have rightly raised this question, it's very important for everyone, all of us, even for me, even today, is to understand that people who question us on something which has no relation to our public speaking skills, we unfortunately take it seriously. That okay, I was supposed to wear a jacket or a tie for that event. I was supposed not to wear a t-shirt or jeans. And when you say same people, when they see Facebook guys or Steve Jobs and other senior chaps, in their all casual outfits, delivering best of the best speeches, inspiring millions of people, then they appreciate them. Why? I'm sure all of you must have seen the best of the best speeches by all the CEOs, right? I'm not talking about the politicians, put it aside, because usually we see them as the greatest public speakers. But in general, I'm saying that you see CEOs, you see an Indian CEO, a French CEO, a British CEO, an American CEO. It's different. You see a guy who's a startup guy who also holds X amount of wealth. He's doing great business, his dressing sense. And you see somebody who is in his 50s or 60s, a smart guy, rich guy with all the money and everything in the world. So what we do, that we compare so-called confidence or this into, say, added body language to, say, the kind of clothes you're wearing. That's one example. Now, second could be, how do you see that, okay, a person, he specializes in a particular subject. Now, if he or she is speaking on a different subject, you will see the difference in their body language. It is very easy. They may not be able to, look straight into your eyes while speaking because they do not have that confidence. Though they are prepared, they have thoroughly studied, they have researched and rehearsed, but that's not their subject. Now, what we think that I'm a good public speaker, I can speak on anything. No, it's not like that. You may deliver 100 sessions, but out of that, 80, 85 would be irrelevant. But those 15 sessions, which were or are your subject, wherein you're speaking confidently with basic preparation, because you know yourself and your subject very well, will deliver exceptionally good results. On the other hand, if you're speaking on something where you're not prepared, which is not your subject, but you are a good speaker, you may be able to deliver. For sure, you will. But your body language will answer most of the questions, that either this guy is not prepared, or he's scared, or he was last minute guy. It happens that CEO was supposed to attend, a deputy was asked that, okay, no, why don't you go and attend, because CEO is not available or he's traveling. So those people you can easily make out. So my anecdote here is, It happens with all of us. We have to speak on different subjects, situations, people, countries, and everywhere. If you are in such a situation, what you can do, my suggestion is that you pick up the at least the posture in the sense that, for example, if you are attending a conference and there is an opportunity to stand and speak and sit and speak, and you are more comfortable sitting and speaking, then prefer to sit and say, I would like to express my views from the chair. But if you're not comfortable sitting and speaking, you can leave the crowd. If 5 6 people are on the dais, you can say, I would like to stand and speak. There is no harm in that. Public speaking means people are not there to see you, that whether you're sitting or standing. They want to see that confident side of you. They want to understand the subject which you are speaking on. So please understand yourself first. That I am good at public speaking, but when I'm standing with a collar mic or with a hand mic, then if you are going for a session, please feel free to tell the organizers that I am this kind of a guy. I need this kind of a preparation. Obviously, maybe out of 10, you might not get such facilities in 2, 3, but at least in 7, irrespective of the subject you are on speaking, you will deliver a really good session. So this is your choice. Be very vocal in terms of communicating your choice to the organizers. That's what I love. I would like to stand and speak, public speaking. Or, all the CEOs, what they do, they pick up a mic or a collar mic, and then they get down from the stage and then they walk and talk. In most of the sessions, we see some people entering in. So if you're sitting in an exhibition or maybe some exhibition setup or something, roundtable setup, the people walk inside the crowd and they speak from there. There's no harm in that. Develop your own style, and your body language will only and only support you in terms of delivering an excellent session.
No, makes sense, and one of the reason why I brought up the point of body language, because often I've seen some speakers on stage, like playing with their fingers, thinking, and not making an eye contact, looking here and there. And this has always left an impression on my mind that, okay, why is he not engaged while speaking? What is the disconnect? There seems something not right about the speaker, right? And the deeper you go, you come to know that maybe he's not confident of the content, right? Maybe there's some inhibition or a fear that there could be some out of syllabus question coming his way, which he may not have an answer. So, maybe he just wants to run through the seminar, the session, and say that, okay, dude, I'm done with it. Let's move on, And that's what when I've seen people who are at the top of their game, right, when it comes to content, they had a different aura altogether. They had a different body language. You could make out from the voice, from the words they chose, the modulation of their voice. You could make out that, man, he's top of his game. He knows what he's speaking, right? And that's where I thought that why not bring this angle of body language as well for our friends and colleagues that, how do you take care of your body language? Great, Himanshu. Next question that comes to my mind on this front, since we've covered research, rehearse, and body language, right, comes to engagement. What do I mean by engagement here is like, assuming you've done all the checks, right? You've researched, you've rehearsed, you've taken care of your body language, you're confident of your content. Engagement. How do you keep your audiences engaged so that, they don't get bored, they don't start looking at their cell phones that, okay, how many more minutes this guy's going to speak, right? And they look forward to participating in that conference or discussion actively, right? They're hearing you. They also have some viewpoint which they want to air back to you, right? So on a two-way engagement, what's your viewpoint on that? How can speakers keep their audience engaged actively?
See, we must understand that in terms of engaging people are not robots, They are not like somebody who's just sit there and listen to your views and just go back home. They want some sort of input, strong inputs. Yeah, sorry. So they want some strong inputs. And those strong inputs doesn't, see, I'm sure all of us have attended many sessions. Some people are very loud. Some people are very calm, composed. Some people only talk to the pointers, the presentations which they are using. Some people refer to some examples of great people and all that. Public speaking, I'm breaking the ice here in the sense that I'm sharing a very personal thing, and I think it implements to more or less each and every public speaker who are into this business. Public speaking is basically about storytelling. That's how I see public speaking. that you have learned something in last 2, 3, 5 years or 6 months, right? Now, will you be able to develop a story out of that? That story should have a starting. All of us management guys, we are at IMA platform. We have a product life cycle. We start, we reach, we go down like this. Likewise, in public speaking, storytelling is something which is very much required. Now, storytelling here means it's like your speech is like a product. It is beginning, it is starting from somewhere, then it should end somewhere. It should have all the right and wrongs there. It should cover all aspects of the subject. You can't just come here. You know what happens? We disengage from the speakers who only talk about their product. For example, when we go for individual meetings, 5, 10, 15 setup, and we come across some good guy or a girl who is talking about their product in that meeting, and they manage to impress us that, okay, this is the right product, this is what I need. So they are called as good business development managers or sales guys or marketing guys. You know, Likewise in public speaking, because it's an extempore, kind of an extempore or sharing your thoughts based on your knowledge and rehearsal, when you are sharing something using that particular so-called platform which has been given to you, and you are engaging people, telling them that started from here, this is the future, this is the end, this is something like this, then people get engaged because they want to listen that what is coming up, where we are going. So we relate. Usually what we do is that we relate this to vision and mission. You will come across a lot of companies, they start with a mission, they're very strong, very, very strong. They put their best effort, they invest a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. And after some time, they are just out of the market. On the other hand, there are visionaries. They set up something for the long run. So basically, what those visionaries are doing is that they are drafting or writing a story. And you know what? If you go back and see, so basically what we do is that all of us would like to listen to these success stories. Why do we call them success stories? And we invest a lot of time to understand how Apple started where it is, how Tata started where it is, how Ambani started where it is. Now, for example, if I'm delivering a session on X organization, be it Tata, Ambani, or any other Indian company or foreign company, and I'm talking about statistics, oh, they've sold this, they've sold, nobody will understand. Even if they understand, they'll say, okay, hardly out of 100, 5, 10 people will take interest. But on the other hand, if I'll tell them a story that he's the guy who started this organization, that's how he started. That was his business model. Then he took it to this level. These were the strategies. These were the countries or people he engaged in. These were the marketing strategies or sales strategies he applied. When I create or draft or write a story in public speaking, people tend to spend more time to understand that where I am getting, where I'm taking them. But on the other hand, if I just talk about this, people lose interest. So storytelling is a part of it. And another thing, what I would like to add here is that all of us, you see, when we these days we spend a lot of time on Instagram or YouTube, we watch reels or short videos or big videos and a lot of other shows on televisions. So after some time, we lose interest, right? But please, if you study the statistics, you will realize that most of the comedy shows, people never lose interest in a comedy show. Everyone wants to laugh in the toughest of the situations, weakest of the situations, strongest of the situations. Everyone would like to spend time with friends too. For what? We want to laugh. We want to share our thoughts in a very, conservative way. We share a lot of things, but by the time we sit and spend time with friends and family, we are more open and we, share our things in a very confident way. Likewise, for a public speaker, he or she must understand whatever you are sharing, it should have, like anything what we eat without a pinch of salt or sugar is incomplete. Likewise, for any public speaker, without humor, without a pinch of humor in his or her speech, the speech is incomplete. People would like to understand that, okay, he or she, this guy who is standing on the stage, is not somebody, you know, like, okay, who is a big shot or something. He is like us. Perhaps he has done something to reach a level and that's why he's there. Perhaps one day we will also reach there. He or she is sharing their own life experiences, making us laugh on something which we thought is a very serious subject. But then when you add a pinch of humor, people see your bright side that, okay, all of us are human beings. He is doing his job, we are doing our job. or people who are attending, they see that at some place I am a good public speaker, but perhaps I have not utilized the opportunity, or I can be. So these two things, if you can curate a story which makes sense, okay, not like any story which makes sense, and that story has a pinch of humor in it, I think you can attract a lot of good people towards you. You can keep people engaged, you can keep people involved, and you will keep people in terms of revisiting you and listening to your thoughts and views. So today, if you study the any highest of the points or maximum of the money which any shows are making across the globe are basically the shows which are spreading, sharing humor, which are not like movies or sci-fi and all that. Though they do well, but in every, even in sci-fi movies or even in movies which are, you know, very deep subject, you'll see a pinch of humor in that. So storytelling with a pinch of humor is something which I feel is very, very important for anybody or everybody who is looking at becoming a good public speaker.
No, couldn't agree more, especially on the public speaking aspect, as well as the other important aspect with respect to humor and relevance around the topic. And when you were making examples of movies and shows, I could, the back of the mind, I was thinking that, yeah, okay, which show was I deeply connected with, which movie I connected the most with, and the least common denominator among all of them, they had great content and they had wrapped it in a nice storytelling format, and which I felt that, okay, spot on, I understood what he's saying, right? Now, let's talk about bad days, right, Himanshu? We all have bad days. You've done everything, right? You go on stage and voila, some oops moment happens, right? Now, those oops moment could be technology is not in your favor, something goes wrong, right? Mic is not working, speakers are not working. In the middle of your speech, electricity is gone, boom, everything is gone, right? You get a question and answer session. In the Q&A session, you get a question from the crowd, which is googly, which is like out of the syllabus, right? Somebody interrupts you. So as a speaker, all these oops moment or unforeseen situations, right? How can one handle it elegantly, right? How can one handle it smoothly that while it's an interruption, people don't feel that, oh, the session got interrupted. They should feel, oh, seamlessly handled it so smooth that we never felt an interruption. And worse, if you get a googly question or somebody's acting really difficult from the audience, right, for XYZ reasons, how do you handle such personas in the crowd? Any thoughts on that?
Yes, you, for anybody or everybody who is looking at making their career, or if they are looking at becoming a good public speaker, please accept this first of all, that these situations are going to come. You have to accept it and be ready. Be ready. It happens with, best of the best people. I remember, now that you've shared this, asked this question, Narayan, I remember when I think Tesla was doing something related to their new car and it was a failure. Same thing happened when Microsoft was launching some version of Windows and it crashed on the same day on the stage. So it happens with all of us. But have you seen that these guys, people, I'm talking about the big shots, okay, in general also, if I say, have you seen these guys kind of nervous or shouting on others or saying or making an excuse or something like that? No, right? They stay in the situation. So first of all, they accept the situation. So please accept that we all are human beings. We make mistakes, and these unprecedented events are going to happen with you, with us. It can happen with anybody. Anybody, it can happen with anybody. So please accept. First of all, be there to have this attitude towards the stage, towards the organizers or the people behind the show, that these things happen and it is nobody's fault. It just happens. That's why these are called unprecedented events. So accept, first of all. Don't get nervous. Second is, you have to stay very, very calm. So if you are in a situation which is unprecedented and you are like, okay, my show was supposed to be like that and it's gone down, or what, it's okay, fine. You can't do anything. So once you have accepted that, okay, something has happened, stay calm. Stay calm in the sense that your teammates, people around you, you are just delivering like, for example, here I'm delivering a 60-minute session But there are, I'm sure, minimum 50 people behind the show who have done, lot to make this happen. Now, they've done their own bit, they've contributed their bit, and I'm contributing my bit. So the success of the show depends on the entire team, not entirely on me, right? Likewise, you have to be very, very calm and composed. That, okay, fine, I have accepted, okay, it was a mistake, something happened, I was late, there was no internet, there was no electricity, or this happened, mic was not working. Fine, it's okay. Just relax. As I mentioned in the last answer also, when I was sharing that, your body language should not communicate that you are nervous, or you are not prepared, or you are sad, or you are angry or something. No, you have accepted that something has happened. Now stay calm. Wait for the thing to get, sorted. For example, if it doesn't get sorted and your show, for example, is spoiled in the sense that, okay, you were supposed to speak for 1 hour and after 15 minutes you're not able to see, accept it, reschedule it, no problem. In public speaking sessions, these things are very common. It is nobody's mistake. Once you've accepted, you have stayed calm, understand that you can always reschedule the things. Team can really work again on that. You can do that. Maybe, I'm sure the people spare time, they block their schedule, everybody is busy. Maybe sometimes people won't be able to attend, but these days we have tools like recordings are happening, so people can revisit and understand from a recorded session something was there. But as a public speaker, if you're looking at making a career in public speaking, you have to accept these things. You have to stay calm. You have to understand that there are people behind and they've done their bit. Unfortunately, something has happened. And last but not the least, the most important thing is that you will come across the people, they'll probably talk behind your back and say that, oh, that session was pathetic. It was hardly for 15 minutes and this happened and that happened. You were not prepared or whatever. Be very honest. And if somebody says that, okay, that has happened, you have to accept it. Yes, sorry, that has happened. But obviously next time or next session was brilliantly done and it got more views or it got more visitors or it got more attendees. And I did fairly good job next time. Something bad happened, fine. One bad speech, one bad incident should not spoil your career. I'm sure a lot of you must have seen this, people fighting on television, live televisions, people fighting on road, people fighting in offices. People lose their calm. You have to honest to yourself that it was nobody's fault. It happened. It's a situation. So stay calm, accept it, be very honest to yourself. And that doesn't mean that you lose that confidence or you say that, okay, I'm not going to do this or this and that. No. Don't take it to your head or to your heart. Reschedule, plan, be ready. Opportunities comes and goes. These things happen. Like, for example, all of us, we were not able to do anything from 2020 to 2022, right? We saw COVID. We were sitting at our homes. People who have not even attended one meeting online, they were attending 10 meetings every day. People who have not attended college or school, students especially, they were attending. They studied. People studied. People did business. People were there. Obviously, we all saw a slump. We saw a downfall, but they were there. And again, the things restarted. Again, we started. Now, if I see the positive side of it, if I be like honest to myself, that we have another avenue open for us in the sense that if we can't attend a physical meeting, we can any day, anytime have a digital meeting. We are doing this Zoom today. COVID is over, but we are here. We have 400 people attending the session. Because if, for example, if I have to set up the stage and invite 400 people, it's a task. Now I understand that I've understood and I've understand that, yes, there is an opportunity. There is a new market or new space available. Why can't I utilize it? All of us are doing that. All of us are doing that. So same thing happens when we are on stage. Things can go hayway, things can go up and down. People put their best effort. There is a time you can, once the show is over, you can always find out whose fault was it or how it happened and all that. But that should not happen for a good public speaker. If you're looking at making your career in public speaking, that should not happen on the stage. Your face, your body language should not reflect any negativity. It should be very clear that, okay, fine, it happened. Sorry, accept it. Be very calm, be very honest. That's my input.
No, pretty pragmatic here, Imanshu, and why I asked this question because the examples that you mentioned, right? Tesla or Microsoft. Like I can give an example closer to home. Earlier, I was with the Aditya Birla Group, and Mr. Birla was holding a town hall, so more than 2,000 people, and his mic suddenly gave up on him, and it was not working. And in a second, he said, "All right, maybe it's break time. So why don't we take a break for 10 minutes, and let's come back till the time our friends figure out, or maybe we'll have an alternate mic." And he quickly converted into a quick 10-minute, 15-minute smoke bio break. And people didn't realize also that, okay, there was an interruption. And oh, okay, what do we do? Look at each other or mocking Mr. Birla that, oh, his mic stopped working. In like a flash of a second, he made it into a break. And few caught it and few didn't. But those who got it were like really smart way of handling a technology goof up by saying that, hey, it's break time. So I just thought that, as an experienced public speaker, what are the best practices or anecdotes you can share with our friends here that if at all they face such a situation, how do they handle it? Because I'm sure it's an important part to also be aware that, the oops moment, how do you handle that? Now, moving it into the next phase, I would say probably a question which, I would want to ask you is that who are your role models, right? As a public speaker or a person who has been addressing audiences, small, medium, large formats, which role models do you look up to or do you emulate? And it could be in public domain, it could be in your circle that you believe that, oh man, I really like the way he speaks. I really like the way he engages his audience, right? So as aspirant or somebody who wants to fine tune his game, any role models that you can table and share with our friends here that, what, look at him, look at his style. It's excellent. Something like that you can share.
Sure. So before I come to that, I just want to share that anybody and everybody can be anybody's role model. Those role models, again, how I see public speaking is that role models depend on the subject which you are studying, and based on the subject which you are studying, because you read and you listen to people, you listen to stories, you watch their stories or see them. So sometimes you don't even realize that, okay, you have picked up a role model, you are following him or her, but you don't, you are imbibing or picking up their habits and way of speaking, a lot of other stuff, but you don't realize that you have something of that sort in you. So for example, if I say, it's a little humorous thing that for me, some of the Bollywood actors and Hollywood actors are my role models. Shane Connery, for instance, they're like the James Bond guys. The way they speak, the way they communicate, and the way they are dressed up is something which I really like. And so I have seen each and every movie, each and every Bond movie. So, the way people talk, behave, speak, everything is there. Now, India, if I come back here to Bollywood, for example, Amitabh Bachchan, the amount of effort which he puts in delivering one dialogue, can be easily seen that, okay, this guy has studied the script, first of all, he has rehearsed the script, and he has done many takes to deliver one shot. But that one shot has come up so well that, that has been the only thing within the entire movie that everyone liked it. And that happens with all of us, when we watch a movie or a show or something, out of like a 2 hour or 3 hour show or a 3 hour movie or 2 hour movie, you remember hardly 4-5 things. Have you ever thought, I have studied philosophy also thoroughly, that's why I'm sharing this, psychology and philosophy. Have you ever thought that you only remember hardly 4-5 things out of the entire movie? Obviously, you remember the cast, the director, and everybody, and you hear about them. But when you go for a movie, you come back, you hardly remember 3-4 things. Same thing happens when you're listening to a public speaker. He could be a good politician, he could be a good businessman, he could be anybody. But you pick up things of your likeness, not everything. Now, that is what a public speaker's life is all about. If you're looking at becoming a public speaker or you are a public speaker, you get influenced by a lot of people. You pick up, so some people are good at X, some people are good at Y, some people are good at Z. So it is your call as an individual's call that how and what I'm doing. Now, why I share this is because when I used to rehearse and I used to record myself, so I used to feel that there are things which are missing, and those gaps can be filled with something of that sort. For example, if I'm delivering a business session, something, and there I'm talking about a marketing subject, and if I have not added something related to Steve Jobs, or if I've not added related something to how Tatas have done so well in India, or what Adani is doing right now, something that's incomplete. Likewise, while I'm speaking, perhaps it is difficult for me to tell that out of this 1 hour session what I'm speaking is from which person or who influenced me. But those pointers are there, goes in your mind when you practice, rehearse, and research. So for anybody, I'll not say, because this is not something that I'm here to say that, okay, I am the best public speaker, something. This is a public speaking session. I can say anybody and everybody can be your guide, your mentor, your somebody who inspires you. So if you think that somebody inspires you and you follow him or her, then I must say that do it religiously. At least pick up 90% of the 80% of the things of the person which you follow, so that you at least groom yourself to that level. Like a lot of people, like artists, what people artists do is that, especially the comedians or these guys, they rehearse, like for example, somebody is saying something in Amitabh's voice or Rishi Kapoor's voice or Shah Rukh's voice or something, so they practice and they rehearse. So they can't obviously 100% match 100%, but even if they do 80 to 90%, all of us are surprised and shocked. We remember them. Like in Kapil Sharma show, we'll see a lot of comedians coming in and doing something related to Sanju Dutt or something related to Amitabh or something to other actors. So we remember the actor and we remember that person that he spoke really well. So what I'm saying is that if you're influenced by somebody, if you really like a reader, at least read minimum, like if he or she has written 10 books, minimum 8 to 9 books. Read it religiously. If you really like the way they speak, then attend their sessions, revisit their sessions, watch their sessions. And at the end of the day, why we are doing, all of us, people who are looking at becoming a good public speaker, we are doing this so that at the end of the day, we develop our own style.
Absolutely.
One, people will say that, oh, Himanshu, oh, Narayan, somebody, okay, he speaks really well. So I'll say that, okay, whatever I speak is 50% I learned it from Shane Connery, 30% from Amitabh Bachchan, 10% from my professors and teachers, 10% from family members. That's my identity now. This is Himanshu. I cannot break it into pieces and say that, okay, this is Himanshu. Now, if I come across Amitabh Bachchan fan, for example, and if I am delivering a session, he or she can easily pick up that this style Himanshu has picked up from Amitabh Bachchan, or this style he has picked up from a Hollywood movie. And that happens with all of us, Somebody people wearing a tie, somebody people wearing a scarf, or somebody people have a different dressing sense. An example I'm putting it here. You can easily relate it to the person. With a hairstyle, you can easily tell that, okay, this guy, he's a fan of that particular person or something. So it's all there. But last and not the least, the most important thing is you have to be an individual. All of us are different intellectuals. We are born with a different intellect. So we should have our own persona, our own personality, so that we should have our own set of followers. We should follow our own set of people whom we really like. So never lose out on that individual capacity of yours. Learn from others, read their stuff, practice what they speak and everything, but develop your own style is something which I would like to add.
Completely, and the last statement that you mentioned, develop your personal style. I always say that that's your signature. That's your signature style. Like, I say, what's your signature style? Like Mr. Bachchan has a different signature style of speaking. Mr. Narendra Modi has got a different signature style of speaking, right? The way he speaks, the way he engages. They're known for their personalities, right? So great. I can go on and on. You want to trust me? I've got a couple of more questions, because there's so much to learn from your expertise. But in the chat window, I'm bombarded like with some 20-25 questions already. And given that we have like 6-7 minutes, so what I'll do is I'll just cherry pick a couple of them, right? I'll come back to my question, but in the meantime, let's answer the questions that our friends have asked, right? So the first question that I intend to pick up is by Shalini. She's asking that in your experience, that is in Himanshu's experience, what specific techniques or strategies have you found most effective in capturing and maintaining an audience attention during a speech, right? So I think she's referring about engagement. Can you provide an example where you have applied these techniques successfully? So I guess she's talking about effective implementation of engagement strategies.
So I'll just share an example here. I'll share an example of my TEDx talk in Morocco. I was invited by Al Jadida University in Morocco to deliver a session there, a TEDx talk. So there I studied about the country, about the people. So there they speak Arabic and French. Their English is also good, obviously, but not like a British English or something, but yes, good. So first thing first was that first point was that I realized that my whatever I'm going to speak should be in the simplest of the language. So language control is point one in terms of I'm saying vocabulary basically. So if you're using a strong vocabulary in England or in America, they'll welcome you. They'll see you that okay, this guy is a doctorate guy or something like that. But for example, if you're in a non-English speaking country, you must understand that your vocabulary should be up to the mark, not below and not above. You can't be like a author or a literature guy or delivering a speech. No. So 1.1 is that Shalini, always study your audience very well. Who is your audience? So your vocabulary is one. And second point is audience. You must understand that you're delivering a session to students, to salespeople, to marketing people, to engineers, to doctors, or to whom. If you've not studied that, your session obviously maybe they'll probably appreciate you, they'll clap you, but session is a waste. Honestly, I'm telling you. So I'll not say 10, 2, 3, 5 things. These two things are the most important what I see. One is your vocabulary, your language of the speech, what you are delivering. And second is the thorough understanding of the audience. Apart from research and rehearse, I'm saying this, please remember that. Apart from your practice of the speech and your research, which you are doing about the knowledge of your subject, that you have to have. But in simplest of the way, Shalini, if I say there are only two things. One, your vocabulary. For example, if you're talking to engineers, your vocabulary should be more in terms of engineering. Your speech should have technical terms. If you're talking to mechanical engineers, for example, you can talk about engines. You can talk about other things, right? If you're talking doctors, you should have, like, for example, eye surgeon is an ophthalmologist, right? So you will address an ophthalmologist as an ophthalmologist. If you'll say, okay, you are an eye surgeon, that means you're not up to the mark. You don't know who you are talking to. So my point is study your audience very well. And according to that, your speech should have the vocabulary. These two things, Narayan, apart from 10 other things which I've already shared.
Pretty pragmatic, Himanshu. And Shalini, I hope you've heard the whole thing and you made notes of it, because Himanshu is talking from his experience, right? And I completely relate to what he's saying of knowing your audience and the language and the level of vocabulary that you use, right? So pretty much. So Shalini, there goes your, the feedback that you're looking for. Himanshu, probably I'll take one more question because we just got 3 minutes. This question is from Nishi Chauhan. Her question is, public speaking is a skill that can always be refined, right? It's like improving in your game. How do you personally work on improving your own public speaking skills over a period of time? So her question is that, are there any specific practices or habits that you as an Himanshu has adopted over a period of time and that has made you a better public speaker over the course of time?
Nishi, when we study a subject, for example, if I'm studying engineering, and in particular in engineering, I'm studying computers. Within computers, for example, I'm studying Java, a language. Or like in law, as I've already mentioned. So there are subject, different subjects. Now, when I started so-called this public speaking, I saw a lot of videos, I read a lot of books, but I never stopped that practice. So when I read, I'm giving one example I'm giving you here. After reading maybe 30, 40 books on public speaking, writing, communication, and all that, one fine day, I read Dale Carnegie, the Effective Communication Speaking book, which he wrote maybe 100 years back. And when I read that book, I was shocked and amazed that somebody has done so much of research 100 years back, and perhaps not anybody or everybody is referring to that book. So that day made me realize again that you have to reskill and upgrade yourself every day, every time. You have to have different views of different people on the same subject. You can't just limit it to 1 or 2 people. Okay, I have read this book, I am an expert. No. Or I watched one particular guy or a girl who's a good public speaker, that's it. No, it should not be like that. Please remember that every day is a new day, a new learning experience. And a lot of authors, writers, researchers have contributed to a subject. We have thousands of doctorates on one subject, and all of them, they have a different thesis written in a different way. So they must have done something. They must have contributed something. I am just one public speaker or a guy who's delivering a session. Same session delivered by someone else would be entirely different. Their way of narrating things, their way of communicating their ideas or anecdotes would be different. So let's have a very open mind in terms of accepting the views of others, in terms of coming it from a video or from an audio or from a book. So be very, very open. Be very, very accommodating in terms of accepting people's views, their research, that they must have done something on a particular subject. That's my input to this.
Sure, Himanshu, thanks. Owing to the shortage of time that we're facing, Himanshu, I've got like 6 more questions pending. Unfortunately, we can't go through them, but more or less from the essence of the question, what I understand is we've covered them in the earlier part of the session, about body language, about presentation, about engagement, right? So probably that was the last question that I'll take from Nishi right now, right? Thank you so much, Himanshu, for your time, for sharing your valuable insights. It's like, you summarized your experience in a nutshell, and it's like a pill, like people can take and up their game, right? So I hope the 400 people approximately who joined this call derive value from this call, right? Sincerely thank the IMA team, Rhythm, and others who made this session possible, right? I understand from the IMA team that people from almost 30 cities have joined this call, right? So technology has made this possible. Thank you so much. Over to you, Rhythm. Do you want to add something to this?
No, I would like to say thanks to both of you for joining the session and valuable inputs given to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rhythm. Thank you, Narayan. Thank you, all of you. If you have any questions, any doubt, you can just visit Dr. Himanshu Talwar on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. I use it all professionally. I'll be more than happy to address your questions and concerns. And it was really great to be here on the IMA platform. Once again, my colleague Narayan, Rhythm, and the entire team of IMA, and all of you especially, thank you for joining in. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great weekend ahead. Thank you.